Once again, offering my salutations at the lotus feet of my divine Lord and Master Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Om Shri Sai Ram, dear sisters and brothers. On behalf of the Sri Satya Sai Central Council South Africa, it is my pleasure to invite you all to this study circle to be conducted by Dr. Singh. Dr. Singh is a long-standing devotee of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba and very well known to all of us, or most of us in the Sri Satya Sai organization. He's been a former president of the organization, as well as a zonal coordinator. Dr. Singh comes with with quite a vast body of knowledge that he would like to share with us. Recently, when I spoke to Dr. Singh, he told me about a lot of the research that he's been doing on creation and Maha Shivaratri, and indicated that he would like to share it with our Sai family here in South Africa. I immediately jumped onto the bandwagon to get Dr. Singh to share his vast knowledge with us. Sisters and brothers, for those of us who were juniors during Dr. Singh's tenure as national president, we learned a lot from him. Indeed, to most of us, he was quite a mentor. We enjoyed his speeches, we enjoyed his talks, and very, very importantly, what we really did enjoy was that every time Dr. Singh spoke, he ensured that he had one or two lovely jokes or anecdotes in between. So this afternoon, sisters and brothers, it is my pleasure to invite Dr. Singh to this study circle. And I just want to thank him in advance for making himself available for us. I know that he has a very busy schedule. Dr. Singh, over to you.
Salam. Salam, all of you.
Om Shri Sai Ram.
Namaste. Alaikum. Hari Om. Mother Mary, Jesus. I start by saying, let us put our hands together and say, Swami, I love you, and I open my heart to receive your love. All of you here love me, and I open my heart is always open to receive your love. The whole universe, I love you, and my heart is always open to receive your love. I have come to raise the consciousness of man to a level at which he neither rejoices or mourns over anything. In that supreme state of consciousness, you will realize that all forms are mine and all names are mine. And it will come nearer and nearer to me. There is only one God, there is only person, there is only one religion, the religion of love, there is only one caste, the caste of love. And there is only one language, the language of the heart. Now, materialization is by the process of tamaguna. Tamaguna slows down the subtle elements to the 5 gross elements by the process of permutation and combination, called panchikritam in Sanskrit. Now, space, 50% of space, of subtle space, is occupied by gross space. 12.5% of each other element is in space. 20% of air is occupied by subtle air. Then 12.5% of each is of each of the other elements consists of air. Then fire, 50% of fire. And 12.5% of each of the other elements occupies the air. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Doc. We can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Now, 50% of fire, 12.5% of each of the other elements occupies fire. Then you got water, 50% of water, of subtle water, and 12.5% of the other 5 elements, other 4 elements comprise water. Finally, earth, 50% of earth, of subtle earth, and 12.5% of each of the other 4 elements comprise earth. Now, space is love. The color of space is blue. It is psychic and seeing and sound. Air is non-violence. Color is violet. It is spiritual in nature, remembered by story, life, breath, and force. Fire is right conduct. Its color is red. It is physical. Activity choices are waking state and action. Water is peace. It's orange in color. Water is peace, orange in color, emotional, silent setting, and consciousness. Earth is truth, green in color, intellectual intuition, quotation, prayer, and awareness. Now, on the left side of the diagram, you got the influence of Sattva Guna on the earth, on the ear, on the skin, on the eye, on the tongue, and on the nose. Give you the inner instrument, which is mind, memory, intellect, and ego. Now, on the right side of the diagram, you got Raja Guna. The Raja Guna means action, and this gives rise to speech, hand, foot, UGT, and GIT. Urogenital tract and gastrointestinal tract. Then, out of the Raja Guna, you get the prana, vital airs. The 5 pranas are animation, assimilation, regeneration, distribution, appropriation, and elimination. That means speech, digestion, circulation, and breathing. Now, you must understand that the 5 elements, as you got five pranas, 5 elements, 5 senses, 5 organs of action, and 5 liberating instruments. Next slide. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Right, the Buddhi bird. Now, the head of the bird is fate. Now, I'll tell you a story about fate. There was once farmers in Puttapati, they lived near Santinelium, and they had a drought for 1 year. And as a result of this drought, they wanted to get to Swami, but they couldn't get to him. But they heard of a man who could speak to Swami once a week. So they went to this man and told him about their plight. So the man said, okay, I'll speak to Swami in 7 days' time. Come back to me in 7 days and I'll tell you what Swami said. So after 7 days, they were desperate and they came to this man. And he said, Swami said, you must go on a mountain, there's a hill on your plot. You must go on top of the hill and chant the Gayatri for 24 hours. Then you get rain. So they went on the hill and they chanted the Gayatri for 24 hours and nothing happened. So they went back to this man and said to him, look, is this the Spada Swami or the real Swami? So he said, no, he's the real Swami. So he said, I'll talk to Swami and ask him why you didn't get rain, despite the fact that you chanted the Gayatri 24 hours. So he said, come in 7 days' time. So after 7 days they came and they asked, what did Swami say? So he said, Swami said that none of you got any faith. Just remember the word, the operative word here is faith. None of you have any faith because none of you came with the umbrella. Now, Satyam is a leadership course. Leadership means to be, to do, to see, and to tell. The right wing is the written. Written means unity, purity, and harmony of thought, word, and deed. And then you got yoga, which is sense control and mind control. Now, I want to tell you a story about the mind. There was once a Dhaka smoker. He was a billionaire and he used to smoke a lot of Dhaka. As a result, the grey matter got damaged, and he went to his GP, and the GP said to him, the Khodeski has invented a method of joining the brain to the spinal cord during COVID crisis. They had enough brains to spare brains to experiment with. So they found an adhesive which could join the nerves of the brain to the nerves of the spinal cord. Exactly. So you can go there. There's three brains which you can choose from. So he flew down in his private jet. He landed on the helicopter pad at the hospital, and he met a Professor Detroit. Detroit, the Afrikaners are good surgeons, you see. So Detroit was the neurosurgeon, and he showed him the three brains. They were enclosed in glass cases. So he said to the Dhaka smoker that the first brain is that of a GP. It costs 100,000 rand. Second brain was that of scientist. Cost 200,000 rand. Third brain looked very fresh and very unused. So he said this third brain is 2 million US dollars. So he said, I want that brain. I'll sell my 10 Porsches, my 10 Lamborghinis, and my 10 Ferraris, and I'll be able to fork up the money to pay for it. But why is this brain so expensive? The Dhaka smoker asked. They said because it was hardly ever used. It belonged to a member of parliament. So that is the mind for you. Now, it is essential that the divinity of man is realized. Mankind can build up a great society based on unity and adherence to the divine principle of love. This profound change must begin in the minds of individuals. When individuals change, society will change. The whole world will change. That's what Bhagwan Sri Sai Baba said. Now, there's another story I must tell you about the chief minister and king. They were hunting together and they were using bow and arrows in the old days. And the king had to string his own bow. And whilst attempting to string his bow, the string slipped and it was sharp. It cut his right thumb off. So the king was very disappointed. He asked the minister, what do you think of this tragedy? So the minister said it happened for the best. Remember, the operative word in this story is it happened for the best. Every tragedy in your life happens for the best. You will find it out soon. So the king got angry. He locked the minister up. Next hunting season, the king was all alone. And he got lost and he got caught by a primitive tribe. So the primitive tribe said, we're going to sacrifice you. You must go into the hut and you must strip. So he went into the hut, he stripped himself naked, and the chief of the primitive tribe came to inspect him and said, you are unsuitable for sacrifice because you are imperfect. So he let him loose and the king went on horseback back instead of going back to his palace, he went to the prison house and related the story to the chief minister. So the chief minister said, that's very interesting. The king said, there's one thing that puzzles me. How did it happen for the best that I locked you up? So the minister said, I would have been sacrificed. So that is what we have to remember, that everything does happen for the best. There was once, are you there?
Yes, Dr. Singh. Thank you. We can hear you.
Ruben, are you there?
Yes, and I can hear you. We can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Now, there was once a man who did seva like we do seva. He was a billionaire also, and he used to build schools, hospitals, homes for the abused women, and he used to give out food in winter and blankets and heaters and hot water bottles and etc. etc. He spent $3 billion doing all the seva. He's a Christian man. He died, so he had to go to heaven, and he had to meet Saint Peter. So he went in a long queue and eventually got to St. Peter, and St. Peter told him, what did you do wrong? If you did a lot of wrong things, you're going to hell. If you did a lot of right things, you're going to heaven. So he said, I had no time to do wrong things. I only used to do seva. So St. Peter gave him a piece of paper, said, write down, make a list of all the seva you did and come back in the queue. So he did the list, he went back in the queue and eventually got to St. Peter. And St. Peter told him, a very impressive list. I've never seen such a great list before. So he called a heavenly accountant and said, make out a check for $3 billion US. So the accountant came, he made out a check and gave it to St. Peter. St. Peter gave it to this man who did all the seva and said, now take this check and go to hell. And there was once, this is a unity of faith joke. There was once, the Indians, when they go to the graveyard, they take food with them. And they take cigarette and alcohol, the father smoked and drank. So there was this Indian fellow who went to the grave and he was praying the Gayatri mantra and he's doing all his prayers. And he was busy with his prayers. And then a white man, there's a Christian grave next to him, opposite him. And the white man came with flowers and a bunch of roses, and it was having a lovely aroma. You could smell it from far away. So he said to the white man said to the Indian guy, I'm very confused. How come you have so much food and so much alcohol? When is your father coming to eat this food and drink the alcohol and smoke the cigarette? So the Indian guy told him the same time when your father comes to smell the flowers. So we have to respect all faiths. Like the Africans, when there is a funeral, they have a 1 month celebration with they eat a cow a day. And meat is often off. And we usually see these patients after the funeral. They come with a tremendous diarrhea, terrible gastrointestinal infection. So we have to respect the faith. There is the Zoroastrians that when you die, they don't bury you, they leave you to be eaten by the vultures. The Buddhists, they believe in nirvana, they don't believe in God. We have to respect that. Because when you look at Adventure into Consciousness by Aurobindo, he talks about the ordinary mind, the super mind, the higher mind, and the overmind. And the overmind is liberation. Now, I must tell you about the 16 kalas. Now, the Krishna avatar came with 16 kalas, and the Shakti was Balarama. Now, Satyasai is Shiva Shakti himself, so he has not come with any companions. He's on his own, and he's got all 16 characteristics, fully fledged characteristics. Now, the avatar does not cast a shadow. The avatar does not really eat. The avatar does not walk, he glides. The avatar, at night when we are sleeping, he separates his body into many parts and throws his limbs around the room. And how we know this is there was one man who went and peeked through the window and saw someone doing all these things. He had a terrible fall and he hurt himself very badly. So the avatar has got these perfect components. Now, each human being has also got the 16 characteristics, the 5 pranas, the 5 senses, and the 5 elements. And the 16th one is the mind. Now, if you do seva and you do Naga Sankirtan and you do your Thursday bhajans and you fully fledged devotee, you do your Omkar, your Suprabhatam, light meditation, and all that type of thing, then you destroy the 15 components and you're left with prajna, which is constant integrated awareness, and jnana, which is one of the 720 million tubes that get destroyed. So the prana, the prajna and the vyana flow towards the kundalini of the spine, the base of the spine, and there they meet the kundalini shakti, which is a three and a quarter spiral structure. Now the kundalini, the prajna, constant integrated awareness, and the vyana fuse together and become like a ball of fire. And this ball has got like an atomic energy. It goes and breaks through each of the chakras until it reaches the Sahasrara chakra. And when it reaches the Sahasrara chakra, it explodes through the fontanelle, the fontanelle, the apex of the head, and you get liberation. So that is how you get liberation. I explained to you how you were created. I explained to you how we were liberated. And now I'm going to talk about Shivaratri. Shivaratri, in one sentence, means starve the mind and kill the senses. Now, Maha Shivaratri takes place in the February-March period, in a month in the day when there is no moon in the sky. The moon is the presiding deity over the mind, like the sun is the presiding deity over the eyes. Now, we have 4 janams. At 6 p.m., the fast is from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Now, at 6 p.m., you do the abhishekam of the lingam with water. Then at 8:45, you do the abhishekam of the lingam with milk. Then at 12 midnight, you do the abhishekam of the lingam with honey. Then at 3 a.m., you now, right. You heard about the 4 janams of the
Yes.
celebration of Maha Shivaratri. Now, the first janam is at 3 a.m. and then at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. The festival stops. You stop celebrating the festival. You go home, you break the fast with a light breakfast, and then you don't sleep. You find you are very refreshed. You're full of energy, and you spend the day doing your work. And that night at 6 p.m. you can have a good supper. What I do is I have stir-fried baby spinach, baby corn, baby carrots, baby peas, and olives, the purple olives. And I drink a glass of almond milk. And I'll wrap up by telling you another joke. Can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Singh, before you go on to the joke, could you tell us something about the lingam specifically and its association with Swami?
I must tell you, in 1988, Swami materialized the Atma Lingam for my wife. And it was when he put it in her hand, he waved his hand, and when he put the lingam in her hand, the lingam was like jelly. And when it got hard in about 1 minute, and Swami's fingerprint, his right thumbprint, is still on the lingam. So we have very good memories of the lingam. My wife does abhishekam of the lingam twice a day. Now, the lingam has 2 polarities. The left side is Shiva, which is positive, and the right side is Parvati, it is negative. Now, as I said before, the lingam is an orbital structure, like in a microcosm. The electrons move around the nucleus of the atom in an orbital structure. That's in a microcosm. In the macrocosm, the planets go around the sun, also in an orbital structure. So as you can see, whether you're in the microcosm or in the macrocosm, the lingam is everywhere. It is omnipresent. Now, Lord Shiva incarnates only for one night, for 12 hours, as a lingam on Maha Shivaratri night. Now, if you go concentrate on the lingam on that night, specifically, really get into it, then you have a good chance of getting liberation in this life. Now, as you know, the Hiranyagarbha Lingam is on the left side of Swami, and it comes out through his mouth. Now, each human being has a Hiranyagarbha on the right side of the lung. And if he does the process of liberation like I had explained, he will attain Maha Samadhi in this lifetime. Because he and she, or he or she, has followed the exercise necessary. Now, I must tell you that the mind, the memory, ego, and intellect, everybody thinks the intellect is higher, but the ego is higher than the intellect. And the mind consists of the ordinary mind, the supermind, the higher mind, and the overmind. And you have to live such a life that you destroy the mind entirely, and the supermind takes over and makes you function at a higher level of consciousness. You will still eat, you will still sleep, but you will eat less, you will sleep less. You will find that you are always happy. In my first interview with Swami kept me on his left side for 1.5 hours, and my wife on the right side. We were with Mr. Venkat Raman, the elderly man, he's passed on now. And Swami told me, worry is imagination, don't worry. And since then, I don't worry. Now, coming back to the Lingam, Swami used to produce the Lingams like 9 at a time, ordinary Lingam. And then he stopped for a while, and then eventually for 5 years, he started producing the Hiranyagarbha Lingam, sometimes 1, sometimes 2. Now, it is said that if you observe the Lingam emerging from Swami's mouth, at the time of the birth of the Lingam, it happens very fast, and Swami sometimes obstructs with his handkerchief. But if you're lucky enough, you're sitting at the right angle, you will actually see the birth of the Lingam, and then you are granted liberation in this life. So that is all I have to say about the Lingam. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much, Dr. Singh. Dear sisters and brothers, if you have any questions, you can post it on the chat. I see your humor is being very well received, Dr. Singh. Those that know you say you still have the humor in you to bring a smile to their faces. That is so good. So good to hear. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Singh. Dear sisters and brothers, that was Dr. Singh being his old, lovely self. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Singh. You are such a fountain of knowledge, and you shared all this knowledge with us, and we really, really do appreciate it. The fact that there were about 135 people listening to you today just indicates how much people were really looking forward to hearing from you again. We know that your health is not too good, but you still took the time to share this fountain of knowledge with us. On behalf of the Sri Satya Sai Global Council South Africa, Dr. Singh, I would like to thank you very, very much for making the time to share your knowledge with us and to spend the afternoon with us. And we hope that we would get the opportunity in the future to spend more time with you so that you would be able to share more and more of your knowledge with us. And we are all looking forward to it. Well, there's some lovely comments coming through. It says, wow, thank you, Doc. Swami bless you immensely. Thank you, Dr. Singh. So great to hear you again. Looking forward to many more. It's so good for all of us to hear all of this. Okay, without further ado, sisters and brothers, we will close with the closing prayer.
I said, Toma सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय